Hello, in this video I want to show you how to create particle flow debris for RayFire demolition simulation, and I will show this using this rock. I'm going to smash it to this ground and then create some particles for this fragments. So first of all, let's create this demolition. I will add this rock into this dynamic list here and this ground to the static list here. Next, let's go to fragments, set here, let's say 150 iterations, and let's go to physics, turn on demolish geometry here, and let's set depth level to 2, and now we can create simulation. Also, since my rock is animated, I'm going to use its original animation. So I will start simulation at frame 20, so it will continue its animation. Now let's hit bake here. Okay, let's hit stop. Basically that's all. We don't need RayFire anymore. And here is our demolition. Let's create all the fragments and let's send here some gray wire color. Okay, basically we had our depth level at 2, so we already have some nice tiny fragments, but obviously it's not enough. So let's create particles. Let's start with particle source, PF source here, and let's set viewport to 100. Oh, it's already 100. And now let's open its particle view. And first thing we will do is that we will emit some particles over our fragment surface. Won't be debris particles, but we will use these particles as emitters. And let's delete this position icon and place it with position object operator. So as you can see, we replaced it, and now let's add here our fragments. Okay, now you can see we have this. Let's set color to red, and it's set it to circles. It's typed to circles. So now you can see these particles. As you can see, it just create them and they start fall down. So let's fix it. First of all, we are going to create these particles right before collision happen at frame 30. So let's set here frame 29 and the mirror stop at 29 as well. So right now we create some particles at frame 29, but as you can see they start to fall down. This is because we have the speed operator, which we don't need, so we can delete it. Also, as you can see, they are not locked on the fragments, so let's go to position object and check on this lock on emitter. Also, if you will select fragment and go to its face selection level, you'll see that it has all inner fragments selected. So you can see outer fragments are not selected and all inner faces are selected. So we can set here location not only surface but selected faces. So we will emit some particles only on inner faces. Okay. And this is what we have right now. We create some particles on the fragment surface and they are locked on the fragments. And let's actually increase amount of particles to, let's say, 500, since not all the fragments have these particles. Okay, and now let's move further. We don't need this shape operator here. Can delete it, and also we don't need this rotation. We also can delete it. all we need to this first event, let's rename it to particle debris emitters. All we need to do is we need this burst operator and this position operator, and next thing we need to add in this debris emitters operator is spawn operator. So this one will spawn actual debris, and let's create display and wire it to this event. So this one will be actual debris, and let's set its color to, let's say, green. Okay, now you see that it simply spawn one, since it set, as you can see, it's here set to once and offspring is 1. It simply create one particle for each particle emitter, and we can fix this changing this by travel distance and increasing travel distance, let's say 0.5. And what it means that it will create each red particle, which will create one green particle only, but only when it animated. So as you can see, let's take a look at this fragment. As you can see, while it's moving, it creates new particles, but after it started moving, it doesn't create any new particles, only while it's animated. So every 0.5 meters it creates new particle. So we can fix this also, increasing offspring to, let's say, 3, and now you can see we have more particles. Okay, we can set variation, whatever, any of these properties we can adjust later. For now, let's focusing on creating the whole setup. Okay, now let's fix this animation of these green particles. As you can see, they simply start moving in random direction, in all directions, and this is because we have this inherited speed 100, which means it just takes, each green particle takes its speed from the red particle. And let's set here to, let's say, 330 and variation to 20. Okay, now it's not so random. But as you can see, it's still pretty chaotic. So let's fix this and create the gravity force. Here it is in this forces, gravity force. Let's create it near this particle source. And to use this gravity, we need to create force operator. Here it is. Put it inside this display and add this gravity here. Influence 1000 is pretty high, so let's set it to 200. And now you can see that this green particle start to fall down. I think 200 is also pretty high, so let's set it to, let's say, 80. Okay, so now we need to prevent them from going down, all these particles. We need to create deflector. I will create this simple deflector. Make sure it lined up with your ground. From the front view, you can actually make it a little bit higher, because later we will add shape for the particles. Okay, now it's lined up. And now we can, to use this deflector, we need to go to this operator list and create this collision and add this deflector in this deflector list. Now you can see that all the green particles start jumping over the deflector. And to fix this, let's adjust some properties of the deflector. Let's set bounds to 0.3, add a little bit of variation, a little bit chaos, increase friction. So this is how it looks right now. Okay, looks much better. Okay, now let's create a shape for our particles, so we will see actual meshes instead of these green crosses. And to do so, I will use some fragments which I already have. You can create your own, but I will use just these references. Let's copy them near this particle source. We don't need their animation. We don't need them to be renderable. And now let's create this shape instance operator and add it in this debris event. Also, as you can see, we have two objects, but we can define only one, so we will add them into group. Pick them and set here group members, so it will take by one object per particle. And we still see here this red crosses, so let's go to display and set here to geometry. Okay, now we see all these geometries and all them looks pretty the same and pretty big. So let's decrease their size, go to shape instance, decrease their size, add some variation. So also you can see their orientation is pretty the same for all the particles. So let's create rotation operator here, and it's already set here random 3D by default. So now you can see all the particles have different rotation, which looks much more real. Okay, now we have something which looks pretty real. And in case you are going to render this particle debris from far distance, I'll set here to dots, so we don't need these red circles anymore. In case you are going to render them from the far distance, it's already pretty good. And the good thing is that you can adjust the amount of this particle, just changing the amount of our red emitters. So you can set here to 1,000 and you will increase fragments, or you can change the spawn. Let's say you can decrease spawn rate and get more particles, or you can decrease it to 1 meter, so you will get less of them. Yeah, everything is adjustable. And again, you can set offspring here to, let's say, 5, and again you will get more particles. So you can play with all these properties and get the amount of particles you want. Let's increase it to 3 here and decrease step size. So you can see, so this is a simulation without particle debris, and this is with particle debris. Another thing is worth mentioning is that if you're going to render them from far distance, it's okay, it's already okay. But if you will render them from the close-up, you will see that all these particles do not spin, and they orientation is always the same. Like take a look at this particle, it's always look at the same direction. So you can fix this by creating spin operator. Set here 100 and variation to, let's say, 20. So now during during simulation, you can see that they are rotating, maybe higher. But the bad thing is that they still rotate after their rest. So to fix this, you need to create another spin, but outside of the breeze event here, and wire this collision to the spin, set here to 0. And in collision deflector, you should set here is slow after collision. And let's set its color to, let's say, yellow or maybe blue. And shape to geometry. Also, as you can see, they start moving, so let's set here, let's create speed operator here also and set it to 0 as well. So now we can see that this green shapes turns into blue one, and since blue has spin 0 and speed 0, they simply stay on their positions. But during simulation, they have some rotation. Also, you can see there's pretty big particles, even bigger than actual fragments we have. So let's go to shape, decrease scale. And now you see that, okay, now it looks better. Let's increase spin here. It's so high. So basically right now our setup is finished, and we can simply adjust our properties to get the visual effect we are looking for. But mostly everything is set up, setup is ready. Let's set all these colors to gray. So now, since we decreased our amount, our shape scale, we have much less debris, so we can let's increase it just a little bit and increase the amount of emitter particles. Let's say it's 700, and go to spawn and set here step size. So let's say decrease step size, increase offspring, increase variation. So here's the bad thing. As you can see, this object emits this debris at this frame and only at this frame, and it looks pretty weird. So I guess we can fix this by decreasing step size. But since we will get much more particles in this case, Let's decrease offspring as well. Yeah, let's decrease step size even less. Okay, it's better now. Yeah, now it looks more interesting. Also, I want to adjust our deflectors as well. I don't like how they jump just in the same way. All the particles is like this. Bam, bam. Let's increase variation and chaos. Maybe decrease bounciness. Okay, also you can, in case you have some material for your fragments, let's say things like this, and you have to be sure that you will have the same material for your particles, and you need to go and create this material static operator. So I think our deflector, I mean debris stop is finished, and if you want to create something a little bit more different, you can adjust all the properties, but mostly the basic stuff is done. And as you can see, it adds some detalization. So again, we can turn it off. So this is our simple simulation. And this is our simulation with particles. Actually, one thing I don't like is this trail of particles from objects. I think it's just too noticeable. So the way now we are going to fix this, and it's pretty easy. Just go to the spawn operator and change this inherit speed, make it, let's say, higher, increase variation and divergence. So now it looks more messy and not so noticeable. Say something like this. Yep, much better. So this is it, and you can play with other properties of the operators, but the basic setup is finished, and thank you for watching.